There's a certain kind of exhaustion that has nothing to do with physical activity. It creeps in after a day of conversations, unanswered messages, and invitations you never felt the urge to accept. The world moves fast, too fast sometimes. And while others seem to thrive in the noise, you find yourself retreating into quiet corners, craving space to breathe. Not because you dislike people, but because too much of the world at once feels like too much to carry. There's a difference between loneliness and solitude. One feels empty, the other feels like home. But even in solitude, there's an unspoken weight, a quiet pressure that lingers beneath the surface. Maybe you've felt it before, that invisible barrier between you and the world. You're present, listening, observing, but somehow always on the outside looking in. Not because you want to be distant, but because your mind is always working, processing, analyzing, searching for meaning in moments that others let pass without a second thought. It's like carrying a cup that fills too quickly. Every conversation, every noise, every demand from the outside world adds another drop until suddenly it overflows. You're not avoiding people. You're managing your energy, protecting the space that allows you to think, to feel, to be. But the world rarely understands this kind of exhaustion. It expects constant engagement, mistaking quiet for disinterest, solitude for loneliness. In reality, your quiet moments aren't empty. They're full of thoughts, emotions, and depth that most people never take the time to notice. And yet, you wonder, why does it feel like the world keeps asking for more? But what if this isn't a weakness? What if the space you crave isn't isolation, but a form of self-preservation? Imagine yourself as a deep-sea diver. The world above is loud, filled with movement and waves that never settle. But beneath the surface, in the quiet depths, there's a different kind of beauty, one that most people never get to see. It's not empty. It's vast, rich, and full of life in ways that the surface could never understand. This is how you navigate the world. You don't just exist in it. You absorb it. You don't chase fleeting conversations. You seek meaning in the ones that matter. You aren't avoiding life. You're experiencing it differently, in a way that gives you space to breathe, to think, to feel. Society often measures presence by how loud someone is, how much they contribute to the noise. But there's another kind of presence, one that isn't defined by volume, but by depth. You don't have to force yourself to swim in shallow waters when your true home is in the depths. Because there, in the quiet, is something rare, something only those who embrace it will ever understand. Maybe you've spent years wondering if there's something wrong with the way you move through the world, turning down invitations, choosing silence over small talk, feeling drained when others seem energized. But what if none of this needs to be fixed? The world will always be loud, always moving, always demanding more. But you don't have to match its pace. You don't have to prove your worth by how much space you take up or how many conversations you join. The real question isn't how to fit in, but whether you're willing to embrace the way you're meant to exist, fully, deeply, and unapologetically yourself.